Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. I'm Leslie Kolleda with Brightway Insurance. The reason you've been asked to join us is that you've been hearing from us for some time about what it's like to be a Brightway franchisee. Today, we wanted to give you the opportunity to hear from some of our most successful franchisees about what that experience is like. With us today, we have Billy Wagner, a very successful multi-unit agency owner and one of our first franchisees in the system. Kandie Landers, a very successful multi-unit agency owner also, who's relatively new to the system, who's going to talk about how she leverages the system to great success. We also have Michael Miller, our co-founder and vice chairman, who's going to talk to you a little bit about the Brightway story.
Thank you, Leslie, and thank you everyone who has joined us today. I could tell you I'm very excited to share with you not only our history, but where we are today, and be able to have two of our agents here live to kind of give you their different perspectives on Brightway. So when I think about our history, I think of a few different milestone times and decisions. Obviously, the beginning is a milestone, and so David, my brother, and I, who own Brightway and started Brightway, we purchased an existing nationwide agency here in Jacksonville, Florida. It was a 42-year-old agency. We had one office and 3 people. We really had a vision to build something that was really unique. From the very get-go, David and I, we live by certain core values: smart, accountable, trustworthy. This is who we are as people. We knew that the company that we wanted to build, it was going to be really leveraging those core values. We also knew from the very beginning we wanted to empower agents, and we wanted our agents to have retail brick and mortar stores. So we knew from day one we were going to have an agency that had many locations. And so that was the beginning. Fast forward to around 2006, we had 6 stores at the time. Each of them were selling insurance and servicing insurance, but there was a real key thing that we decided to invest in. So we decided that, it made no sense to have each of these different locations replicating all the work that has to be done to run an agency. So we invested in technology to be able to centrally service all of the business. And so when we turned on our service center, it actually, I could tell you, was fantastic. Not only were we able to deliver better, more accurate, faster service, but there was an unintended consequence which really changed our whole future. And that was the moment we turned on the service center, those 6 offices, sales doubled or tripled immediately. And that was for us an unbelievable eureka moment, to say the least. We said, well, okay, that's the answer. And so we said, you know what? Obviously, when you take work off a salesperson's plate, they don't do this. They actually have more time to build more relationships, do a better job, and in fact, sales go up. And the data has proven that to be the case. So that was 2006. Fast forward to 2008. We wanted to take Brightway to the next level, and it's never been about me personally or David personally. For us, we have always felt that the company we're building, we wanted it, like a child, to reach its potential. And so we decided to turn which was at the time Miller Insurance Group into Brightway Insurance, an actual national franchise. So not only did we establish our name that we love and cherish today, but by being a franchise model, there was something else that was really important to us, and we felt that we wanted to be the type of company that invested in business analytics, that really wanted to find the best way to help customers, the best way to support agents, and that rather than build a model that empowered agents to kind of do it their own way, which is how it's done in every other insurance delivery model, we said no. Let's do it the Brightway way. And by doing that, we needed to back that up with the franchise model. So we literally became a registered franchise in 2008 and have been wildly successful. When I say that, I don't mean to sound braggy, but we actually were honored by Forbes, who named Brightway Insurance the #1 franchise in America to buy for lots of reasons. But I could tell you that never in my wildest dreams did I think first franchising in 2008 that in just a few years, we would be recognized as the industry leader in franchising and in insurance retailing. So today, where are we today? So Brightway Insurance today is one of the largest privately held independent insurance agencies in America. We do today over $460 million a year in sales. We're doing business in 18 states through 141 retail stores, and I couldn't be prouder.
Great, thank you, Michael. Michael alluded to our core values of smart, accountable, and trustworthy. We also have an operating mandate that is win-win-win. In its most simple terms, that means that we don't do anything that's not a win for our agency owners, our customers, and for Brightway. And that is really what drives every single decision that we make at Brightway. As a matter of fact, Michael has a great way of expressing it that says, even if it's only slightly a win, or even if it's a neutral for Brightway, but it's a win for our agency owners and a win for our customers, we make that move. So it's through that lens that we make all of our business decisions. And I share that because today when you're listening to Billy and Kandie speak and as we answer your questions, I hope you hear two consistent themes. The first is alignment. We measure our success only in one way, and it's by our franchisees' success. There is no other way to measure our success. And it's of commitment. So you've got 260 people in this building committed to agency owners' success. And those are the people who are providing the comprehensive system of support that we offer to you. I want to talk a little bit about our leadership team. Everybody on our leadership team has been here 4 years or less, and there's a good reason for that. David and Michael looked at each other a few years ago and said, this has grown to phenomenal success. How do we take it to the next level? And they knew that neither one of them had ever run a national company and that they needed that expertise, so they went to the market and they brought it in. And these are not people who, in theory, could do it. These are people who have led national companies in the past, myself among them. So I bring to Brightway 30 years experience on the carrier side, all in marketing, PR, and brand building. Our president, Tallman Howard, similar situation, 30 years property casualty carrier experience. Chris Azar, who runs our customer experience group, she brings 30 years as well, growing customer call centers from 6 people to 6,000. And growing J.D. Power award-winning customer experience centers. Our CFO, Bob Taylor, brings with him 30 years of international franchising experience with H&R Block. So a very solid, experienced leadership team. And I might also mention that David Miller was just named a Franchise Leader of the Year very recently, and you've probably seen the email about that. So again, not theoretical leadership who has done it and brings those experiences forward to help our agency owners grow every day. I invite you to go to brightwaydifference.com to learn more about us, but rest assured that we bring that experience to bear every single day in helping our agency owners grow their business. So how does this system work? It's really quite simple. It is a franchise system. We're a national property casualty insurance agency selling through a series of franchise locations. The franchise fee is $60,000 if you're in the state of Florida. It is $50,000 outside of Florida. There's a $5,000 discount if you are a military veteran. And there's a $5,000 discount if you are first to open in a brand new state on behalf of Brightway. Our proposition to you is that you get more carriers to sell than any other agency out there. And you're supported by a comprehensive system of support that lets you focus on sales. And as a result of that support, our agencies outsell typical agencies 3-1. Our proposition that is consumer-facing is virtually the same. It is more choice and total protection. So Kandie and Billy are both going to talk about their experiences in a minute, but when you are limited in how many insurance carriers you represent, you're also limited in the kind of coverage you can give your customers. So this is a world where you've got multiple carriers and you're able to customize a package of policies that work for every single customer that comes through the door. So I want to go back to Billy and Kandie. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I want to start with learning more about your backgrounds. So Kandie, I'm going to start with you. What did you do before Brightway?
Well, thank you, Leslie and Michael, and thank you to everybody that's joining us today. Before Brightway, I owned a very successful State Farm agency in Denver, Colorado. My agency was the fastest growing agency in the mountain region. For new agents in the country, I was always ranked in the top 10 in multi-line, #1 in raw new auto production, time and time again. It wasn't an issue to sell. That wasn't our issue that we had. It wasn't that we couldn't build relationships. We ran into a roadblock on the captive side. And I'm sure there's many of you on this call today who've been through the same experience that I'm going to talk about now. You do an amazing job with your clients. You build the relationships, you build the trust with your clients, you have the consultative approach. But when it comes to renewal and they have a rate increase or they get non-renewed, what can you do? You can't do anything because you're tied to one company and that's it. Your hands are tied. That's when I really started looking at other opportunities and realized that the captive world was not the future of insurance. It was not the future that I wanted for my clients, for my team of producers, which they did a wonderful job, and also myself and my family. That's when I started looking elsewhere and found Brightway.
Yeah, that's interesting because my experience was very different because I had zero experience in the insurance when I started with Brightway. And some of you on the call may be in that same situation. And let me be a case study for someone that can get through that process and use and leverage the system to kind of get you up to speed. I think there's a lot of different options for business out there, and this option allowed me to just really look at everything that was out there and find something that worked for me. And I didn't need experience. I was in the restaurant business. I hired 1,000 people and fired 100 people. I knew how to build a culture and build a team, but I had zero experience in insurance, and Brightway gave me that leg up to get started.
Great, thank you. Kandie, what did you find out when you first learned about Brightway?
Well, first, Billy, it sounds like we came from completely different histories and backgrounds, but really that's what's unique about Brightway is it can bring everybody from different backgrounds to one company that works well for all of us. Really, I have to tell you, I'd be very honest, I was very skeptical. I came from the captive world, and actually my husband and I both own very successful captive agencies, and so when it came to Day of Discovery, which a lot of you are, if you're looking at a Brightway, you've heard of Day of Discovery. It's called your DOD. It's when you come and visit the corporate office and see really, what is the investment? Where is the service coming from? What are they doing for you on the back end? And you meet the executive team that Leslie mentioned. Very skeptical coming into it though, because I've always been on the corporate side where their goals don't align with mine. Their goals are to make the company bigger and make the company successful, not what's going to help me become successful. And you usually get a corporate dance around answer when you're trying to get when you have a question. So really when I came to Brightway, I had my list of questions. There were no corporate dance around answers. Everything was very straightforward. Everything that they tell you is true. They have nothing to hide. And I knew walking out of that Day of Discovery that this truly was the best opportunity for my future and to build the future that I wanted to.
So I have a little bit more history. I've been with the company almost 10 years. And when I started, I was looking for a different opportunity, and I actually went to the founders, David and Michael, for advice. I wanted to be in the insurance side, and they were successful already. And so when they shared with me their vision, and they wanted to reinvent the system, they wanted to take the pain points out, and when there was how do we add more delight to the experience? So when they shared that with me, I had multiple opportunities. I could have went with Nationwide or Allstate. And they shared that vision with me. We were going to do it a different way. We were going to go a new path. I was really excited, and I couldn't wait to kind of get started with them.
Great. Billy, talk to us about the evolution of the system of support that we offer since you've been here for so long. What have you seen?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of change. I think we have a culture of that constant and never-ending improvement, and we're like a Knights of the Round Table. If there's a better way to do something, we're going to figure it out as a best practice. So, when I came on board, it was a great system because it was a new model, it was a different model, so I leveraged it and it was good. But now, I look back and go, I can't believe what we've accomplished and what we've done. From the website that gives us 50 free leads a month coming in, to data analytics team, to an agency support team. Imagine not getting any mail in your office ever. Imagine getting a commission statement that tells you exactly how to pay people and you don't have to validate everything. It goes on and on, the level of support and the things that they provide. It's really, really come a long way, and I see that we're always looking at the next thing and the technology and how do we leverage it to leapfrog our competition.
Well, in my short time that I've been with Brightway, just think of going from having one carrier that you can go with to having, in my Florida office, I have over 100 carriers that I have access to. I truly get to have that consultative approach with my clients and provide them what they need, not just what I have. And then look at the corporate office side. We have over 240 people here that are here to help me leverage the system, here to help me grow an agency and not just service an agency. They service it. I get to focus on selling. I get to focus on leveraging what they provided and building this book of business as big as I possibly can, as quick as I possibly can. And really, I've seen the support that we get on the back end tenfold in opening up the second agency.
Great, thank you. Billy, how did you get started?
So I opened a scratch agency with one other employee a little over 10 years ago. And, in the very beginning, I was very focused on, learning what I needed to do to be successful and then teaching and developing the people that I had working with me. And we built a culture where we find out what your goals are and, they have different levels of compensation they can earn their way to. They have, all kinds of opportunity because I want them to achieve their goals. What makes the hair on the back of my neck stick up is helping people win and succeed. And this opportunity lets me do that with my people and let them, grow and prosper. And one person in particular that I brought on about 8 or 9 years ago, Chris, is the #1 producer in the company. And, he already went through all those levels of compensation. He was an equity partner. And I said, well, what's next for him? And so, just recently we opened a second location and he's a partner on that with me because I wanted to help him win with me and succeed. And so we're really happy running the 2 agencies right now, and we're looking to the future.
Well, in my time frame, my history with Brightway is definitely shorter. I joined Brightway in 2016, in July of 2016, when I switched my office in Denver from a State Farm office to a Brightway office. And just like Billy, I'm very big on building a culture. I'm very big on making it more of a family unit versus I'm the boss and they're my employees. And I think that's very important because, like you, I want to provide something that's better for them, better for their future too. And that was one of the biggest reasons why I did make the change. And through having that core foundation, even before when I did have my State Farm agency, we had that core family, that core unit of employees. I was able to carry them over to the Brightway agency, and now they're prospering with me in the Brightway system, which then allowed me to go to Brightway and secure that second location here in South Florida. And I'm very lucky that I have the support of Brightway and I have the support of my team there to really focus on growing down here in the Fort Lauderdale market too.
Great. Both of you, but we'll start with Billy. What do you see as you look to the future?
I could not be more optimistic about the future. I mean, there's so much opportunity that is provided. I have such a strong foundation. And, I've, as Michael was saying earlier, I've already achieved a lot of the things that I wanted to achieve. I mean, I've built the life that I want to build. At the end of the day, we all want autonomy. And this business has given me autonomy because I've leveraged the resources and I've been able to own 2 locations that are very successful. And I'm able to take my family on vacations. I just got back from Turks and Caicos yesterday. I built my dream house. I have my dream car. I mean, it really has done what I wanted it to do. And I can't be more optimistic about what's next. I think we'll open more locations. I'll set my team up for more success, and the sky's the limit.
And for myself, I joined Brightway not to just do one location. I remember my first conversation with Michael Miller. I told him, I'm in this for the long haul, and I'm in this to not have one location, but I want to be in Florida, and I want to maybe open somewhere else in the country, and I think big picture. I'm an entrepreneur. And this setup with Brightway truly gives you that opportunity to do that, and to be able to provide a lifestyle not only for yourself, but the people that you want to groom and bring up underneath you.
Our first question, Kandie, I'm going to ask you of this because you are the most recent and you've come from the different background. Compare and contrast your experience with your captive agency to your experience with Brightway.
To be very honest, there are many, many differences. I can't think of many similarities, but there's many differences. I would say the only similarity is we can still provide the consultative approach for our clients, but now I actually have the carriers that I really can give them what they need versus just, like I mentioned earlier, just having one option. Also, I mentioned before, Brightway aligns with me. I don't succeed. Brightway does not succeed unless I succeed. And that has resonated time and time again. And I've really seen that in location number 2. My first location in Denver, we just got past the 1-year mark and the agency is going extremely well. And I've seen the support and I saw the support as I started the agency and the initial investment that you spoke about too. that we get to help us get up and running and truly hit the ground running. But with my second location, I really have seen the support that goes into the renewal side and the retention side and the marketing side, and I've learned to leverage it. I came from captive where I had to do everything. I was servicing everything. I was handling all the marketing. I was handling, you name it. I had a service team and a sales team. Now I was going to focus on selling and then allow Brightway to handle everything else.
Terrific. Billy, for you, specifically, what is the commission structure? And then share with us how you think about it.
Sure. We get 85% of new business and 55% of renewal business. And a lot of times on the new business side, we've negotiated higher commissions with our carriers. So we're actually getting almost 100% of what a normal commission is. But I also like to think about it from a profitability standpoint. I look at a lot of other agencies that are outside of our model, and you really look at their expenses and the way we've used economies of scale to leverage those expenses. We're much more profitable with less headache. I mean, the things that they worry about, I don't even think about. So the profitability is what's really important, and we've been able to grow really quickly, really fast by leveraging the system. And I'm thankful to pay the commission that we pay, and it's also a percentage of what we sell. So it's not even actually that percentage. Mine's like 32% of what my book is.
Great. Billy, also for you, who owns the policies written?
So you can't really own policies, but we're contractually tied to the revenue of those policies. So, I have the same basically rights or privileges to do anything I want with the business going forward. So if I decide I want to pass it on to my kids, I can do that. Brightway has negotiated in the contract a set buyout, so I don't have to negotiate with a broker or anything else. I have a guarantee I can walk away at this level, but I can also hit the open market with it and try to sell it at a higher return, or I can just keep it and hire somebody else to manage it. So I've got all those resources there for me to make the best decision going forward.
Terrific. Michael, this question's for you. We've heard a lot about alignment. How invested are you really in your franchisee's success?
I could tell you, I don't think we could be more invested in their success. And it's, I know you asked for the time. I'm about to tell you how to build a clock. So in franchising, franchisors generate revenues in three ways. They have a franchise fee to join the system. They all keep some kind of percentage of the gross revenue, but they also resell other products and services to their franchisees. And of course, that is at a profit. So what happens is, in every other franchise you could possibly buy, they make a profit when you buy it. They make a profit everywhere along the way. And so they're not aligned with you. When you're losing, they're winning. And if you're winning, they're winning even more. So they go from winning to winning more. For us, we've said, you know what, that's not who I am. It's not right. And so for us, we have set up our business so that obviously there is a cost to join the system. We talked about that. But so as an example, in Florida, when you might come on in the state of Florida and pay your $60,000 franchise fee, I look at what we spend to support you to open your store. So we actually, before you even open the doors, it's 1,500 man hours to support our franchisee to open those doors. That costs us $95,000 compared to the $60,000 they've spent for the opportunity. So when you think about it from this perspective, alignment, we couldn't be more aligned. Our franchisees, when they come onto the system, I'm not complaining, but the truth is we lose money. So we decide to sell a franchise, we lose money. When you open your doors and you're really successful at selling insurance, we're losing even more. And again, it's not a complaint, it's just a fact. And so for us, our business model, from my perspective, is one where I have to make you long-term successful. And so I don't really show a profit in our agencies until their third year. And so I think that gives our franchisees really peace of mind to know that the reason we're asking you to spend every dollar, the reason every workflow is there, is because we've done the research and we know that's the best dollar you're ever going to spend. That is the right way to do this business. It's going to deliver the best results. And so we couldn't be more aligned and invested in the success of our franchisees.
Great. How much is the total investment, Michael?
Yeah, so great question. So in the FDD, obviously we disclose not only the financial performance of our entire network, but we disclose what's the required investment. So The range is $107,000 to $160,000. That is the investment required by someone to open the doors, to pay the franchise fees, open the office, and that gives them 6 months of running capital, that range. But to be honest, obviously Kandie and Billy, they're building very large enterprises. Was that the expectation that they would only invest that much money? I'm sure not. And in fact, our franchisees typically invest at least $200,000 into their future to grow businesses like this.
Great. Kandie, you had an insurance background. Did you find that helpful in starting your Brightway enterprise?
That's a very good question. Yes and no. I would say yes for the fact it gave me that little bit of that edge and that confidence, but no for the fact that I know how to build relationships, I know how to manage a team, I know how to build a business. The only thing I would say is, yeah, it did for confidence, but I don't think that's criteria at all. But I definitely know there's a lot of you out there that do have insurance experience, and there's many of you that don't. But don't think that because you don't have insurance experience, you're not going to be just as successful as somebody that does.
Yeah, I would add that it's like a recipe or navigation or a GPS of getting somewhere. When they've laid out everywhere you need to go and exactly how to do it, and the resources are all around you, you do have to learn a little bit about the carriers. But there's online videos. We have our own university. You really can bring yourself on and all the people coming behind as your producers on. There's a whole onboarding process. How do you hire them? How do you recruit them? All that stuff is laid out. It's kind of tested. It's proven. So it's there for you. And you don't need to have the experience. I will say the first 3 months is tough, but after that, you can. We don't even hire anyone with experience going forward. We like to train them our way and get them used to our culture and the way we do things.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at the results of our franchisees, there is not only not a correlation to who are the most successful franchisees based on insurance experience or not. 3 of our 4 biggest agencies are owned by people with no insurance experience. So I think it speaks volumes to the support that we're able to give to make that possible.
Kandie and Billy, did either of you consider another insurance enterprise?
Yeah, I'll take that. And I mentioned it earlier. I had the opportunity to go with Allstate. I've also had the opportunity to go with Nationwide when I first looked at this. And as I said, they're just, I think sometimes you can look at the surface and you can look at the numbers and you can look at them only at that finite level, and you really can't see what all the things that are behind the curtain. And that's what you don't know. You don't know the caliber of the people that we have here, the way we execute, all those things. You can't really see it unless you look behind. And I would encourage you guys to reach out and ask agency owners besides ourselves or us. We're an open book. We'll tell you exactly what it takes to be successful. We're definitely here to help you answer those questions because we were in your shoes before.
And I'm going to add on to that too, Billy. I did. I looked at trying to go fully independent on my own. I looked at other opportunities that were just like Brightway out there. And independent on your own, that is a difficult road to take. And again, you don't have the higher commission levels. You have to pay for, you don't have any additional, when you have so many people on the Brightway system, we get things at a lower cost because of that, because we're such a large company. So there's so much added benefit to that. Plus then think about the cost of service. I think I probably spent in my State Farm agency 45% of my payroll or 50% of my payroll was going towards service. It wasn't even towards growing the book, growing the agency. So truly, I mean, this Brightway just really aligns with that. And there was nobody else out there, even going on my own, there was nobody else out there that I could accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. And Brightway doesn't have a sales force. There are a lot of other independent, just like Brightway out there, that they have their own in-house sales force that they're selling against their agents. I don't want to compete with the company that I'm working with.
Great. Michael, for you, what makes some agency owners more successful than others?
Yeah, sure. So it's funny, that's a very common question I get asked, but they either ask it the way you just did, what makes some agents more successful, or they ask it the opposite way. Why, if there are underperforming agents, why are they underperforming? Well, it's really 2 sides of the same coin. I will tell you that our best offices, our most successful agents like Billy and Kandie, they leverage our system. They actually leverage all of the support to build a truly world-class organization. And I'll tell you, the people who typically underperform do not. Whether that means they're not leveraging the actual dollars that we offer as co-op for marketing, whether they choose to not reinvest their profits into their agency by hiring more staff to try to grow their office. I'll tell you, this business, the Brightway franchise model, is not that complicated. There is a direct correlation to sales volume and how many people you've been able to build your organization around. And so, and again, to be able to, in our system, when you hire 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 producers, if you were not part of Brightway, think of the additional staff you would need to support that sales team. You don't have to worry about any of it. Not only do you have to pay for it, you don't have to even think about how to do it. We do it. So you can focus on building your own retail business. And the results kind of speak for itself.
Great. Michael, for you as well, what are the growth objectives of the company?
Yes, this is really interesting. So again, I would say, I've had peers ask me, kind of when I hear people ask that question, I think what they're asking is, what is, for David and I, what's our line in the sand when we say, we've won? Is it a certain size, or do we have a certain number of offices? Is that our goal? They go, what's your goal? Well, for us, it's never been about being a certain size or making a certain amount of money. For us, it has always been, even from day one, about saying, we're committed to being the best. We want to deliver the most excellent customer experience to our insureds. We want to make Brightway the best business opportunity, bar none, for the people who've entrusted their future in us. I feel we do that. So by focusing not on the end, but by focusing on the journey, that's our approach. So, for us, that we don't have a line in the sand. It's really about trying to deliver the best value to the consumers and our franchisees, and the byproduct of actually doing it has been unbelievable growth. I think if we had focused on the growth, the byproduct would have been substandard service or support. So, yeah.
Great. Billy, for you, in the first couple of years of your business, talk to us about what that ramp up was like.
Sure, and I think it's going to be different for everyone. I mean, we hit the ground running. We were very aggressive. We went to the grassroots approach, and we, reached out. And now we've built a whole system around what that process is like and how do you build a grassroots organization. I think a lot of people will be surprised at how little we have to spend on marketing because our experience is better and the process that the client gets is much better going through our model. So in the beginning, I was breaking even in the first 6 months. That was very aggressive, but we were selling really well. I hired very well. I didn't have any turnover. And I've really relatively had almost no turnover in 10 years. And that's because the model is better here, and my producers can't go somewhere else and find a better opportunity. So the first couple of years, are the toughest. Each day is always the worst day you'll have. It's always better the next day because your book is bigger and your people are more knowledgeable. So I think all in all, the first 2 years are when you're building that foundation. But like I said, it gets better and better, each year after that.
Great. Kandie, you spoke about how many carriers you have in your Florida location. How many do you have in Colorado?
In Colorado, we have over 35 carriers. And truly, I know 35 is a lot different than 100. But I'll tell you, states are different. Florida needs to have more access to more carriers. In Colorado, 35 carriers, we can write anything and everything. And truly, there's nobody that we have to turn away. And we still could have that same consultative approach in Colorado as I would have in Florida. So number of carriers, I wouldn't put a number on what you have to be successful.
Great. Michael, how much money will I make as an agency owner?
Great question. So when you say how much money will you make as an agency owner, my question would be when. So when in the life cycle of a business will you make X? So I'll tell you, we look at it, again, we're a data-driven company, and so when we look at obviously, in the start of any business, you're not going to make a lot of money when you open the doors. But so we say, okay, for agency owners that have been open at least 5 years or more, we look at them as a cohort group. And just our average, our 50 percentile of agency owner that's been open at least 5 years, they're making $175,000 profit in that business. Now, that's an average agency owner. And we look at our top quartile as a group of the same group, they're making $326,000 a year. This is 5 years or more. So what will they make? The sky is the limit. I could tell you that our agencies continue to grow at phenomenal paces, and so I'm excited to see that number continue to go up over time.
Michael, can I write commercial business as a Brightway agency owner?
Sure. So we really look at Brightway as focusing on the family. So obviously when I say family, I'm thinking homeowners insurance, obviously, auto insurance, all the other ancillary lines around the family. Now, when that family owns a mom and pop business, do we want to insure that? Absolutely. Is Brightway going to be the best fit for a long-haul trucking company, a skyscraper, an ocean liner? Probably not. That's not our wheelhouse. But at the same time, our franchisees, they are able to write commercial. Now, when they open the doors, I want them to be laser focused on what is our bread and butter. So they're going to open the doors as a personal lines agency. If they would like to start being able to offer commercial policies, they can get additional training and become commercially tiered and add that to their business mix.
And I would add that they're not going to get in your way. If you want to be successful, they're going to help you become successful. But the reason why we have these paths is because we've seen what works and what doesn't work. And on the commercial side, it's I want to chase these big premiums. But when you see what the agencies have built, when you open the hood, what they built on the personal lines, and it retains at 90%, that's a much better strategy to build a foundation. And if you want to peel off and do some more, diversify yourself later, you can do that.
Mm-hmm. So with that, I look at our list of questions, and I don't see any more coming in. So Kandie, do you have some final words for our guests?
Yeah, thank you, Leslie. First, we just want to say thank you for joining us today. And if you have any follow-up questions for Billy and I, obviously him and I are an open book. We're going to answer whatever we can for you and help you out with and help guide you in the right direction. Our email should be popping up on your screen about right now. And we really appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you.
Terrific. If you have RSVP'd for this webinar, you'll be receiving a follow-up email shortly after this. A question we did receive is, will you be getting a recording of this? And you absolutely will be. If you'd like to speak with a franchise consultant, please send an email to franchise@brightway.com. We hope you're following Brightway on both Facebook and LinkedIn. We look forward to hearing from you. We hope this is the first step in your Brightway journey to great success, and we thank our panel today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.